Still watching the JoyNews channel with me, Mapita CBD. We're going to cross over to Parliament where the vetting of the Minister for Tourism Designate Mohammed Awal is being vetted.
Yes. Honorable, just a second. Just a second. The chairman has allowed me. Bear with me. The Marine Drive project. Across the world, and I believe that there's nothing new under the sun. Are there any models that you find very attractive, which will be relevant to our context, the Ghanaian context, that we can seek to go for? Because there are diverse, examples. Which of them do you find relevant to in our context?
So, is it in terms of tourism?
Yes.
Thanks, the chairman. The chairman in Seychelles, what they've done even within this COVID period is have 28 days in Seychelles. It's a model. 28 days, you pay $40,000 for a family of 5. And that has attracted a lot of tourists to that area, just Seychelles. I think that we don't have to reinvent that. We have to grow our own strategies in Ghana. The chairman, when given the opportunity, we want to build a film and music studio. It's one element that can increase the tourism potentials of this country. We don't have any studio in this country. If we build a film studio, we're working very hard to acquire a studio. That's one of the early things we do. The film studio we build would help in music and in film production and make Ghana the hub of film production in West Africa. Thank you.
Yes, we will continue. In November 2018, the World Bank gave Ghana a grant of about $9 million. The first window has opened for $1 million. As we speak now, that $1 million has not been assessed because, among other things, there is no expertise in the system to help people to assess this fund. People in the creative industry, people in the tourism industry, funding is a challenge. But because of the lack of capacity to assess this funding, part of this money is sitting down. How are you going to ensure that the creative industry, the tourism industry, take a benefit of this World Bank grant? Thank you. How are you going to ensure that the creative industry, the tourism industry, take a benefit of this World Bank grant? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. If I'm fortunate to be given the nod by this August committee, we're going to review all such arrangements and ensure that we don't have enough money. We can't allow money like that to go. We'll build necessary competence and capacities and make sure that we put the shoulder to the wheels so that everything, that if it's lack of capacity in terms of personnel, we'll hire them and make sure that within a scheduled period of the World Bank, we'll achieve the desired results. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Mohammed Awal, I congratulate you on your nomination as the Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture. I think that if this committee approves you and then the plenary accepts, you would be assuming office at a time when the tourism sector is very severely challenged, especially with this COVID pandemic that we have with us. Now, that's going to be a very big challenge for you as a minister, but knowing you as a successful businessman, I believe you would have some ideas how to, sustain the sector. Can you share some of these ideas with the committee on how to make tourism sector very attractive in the midst of the pandemic? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The tourism sector has been most impacted with this pandemic. As of last month, $1.3 trillion have been lost to the sector. In Ghana, the loss is estimated to be about 6 billion cedis. everybody within the value chain has been affected. The National Board for Small-Scale Industries has done something in terms of government support, and it's certainly not enough. What we intend doing is to make proper impact assessment, which GTA is already doing, to look at what we can do. There are two things we intend to do. We intend to build the capacity of the players in the tourist sector, to also give them business ideas. That's one. It's very important for building our capacity, and there are many of them. And two, intend to provide funding. The chance to speak today, we are already arranging, if given the nod, to conclude 50 million city facility to help those in the sector. And those have to build their capacity and to give them money, prepare them for the COVID. The chairman, anytime there's a catastrophe, after catastrophe, tourism surges around the world. Second World War is an example. Anytime there's a pandemic, after pandemic, there's a surge in tourism. We want to use the downtime now to prepare our people, build their capacity, give them funding, like I said, 50 million cities already being worked out, so that they can build and visit. Most of them to also women. 56% of all the industry are women. We need to build the capacity and make sure that they can deliver, from being just less entrepreneurs to opportunity entrepreneurs. So that's what I want to do this downtime. So I can lots of vaccination going on. We are hoping that by the end of this year, travel and activities will pick up. And we'll prepare our people for that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my predecessor, who incidentally was Deputy Minister for Tourism, started a smoke factory in Gushegu, which, you know, is still at the infant stages. I think it's still at the substructure under the auspices of the Ministry of Tourism. Can I get any assurance that these projects will receive the needed attention so that we can get the benefits from the project, you know, as has been commenced? Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sure there are projects that my predecessor, if I'm given a nod, might have started. When given the opportunity by this August committee, I will look at all such structures and make sure that we complete them and get the value out of them. Thank you.
Lastly, Mr. Chairman, well, you are a royal of Kumbungu, is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
In other words, you are in a position to Mr. Chairman, there are some Kumbungu people here, but I want to oh, it's a strategic question. Mr. Chairman, so you let us
please go on. I'm looking at
as a royal
complaining.
As a royal,
those who are complaining.
I believe that you can assume the namship of Kumbungu someday. Is that correct?
The chairman, it's possible.
It's possible. As a minister, if you get the nod and the scheme becomes vacant, will you be...
That's very speculative.
To relinquish?
That's very speculative. Yes, Nilante.
Thank you very much, Chairman. My very good brother and friend from the Inky fraternity. I want to start first with our festivals. Analyzing our festivals, you can easily see that there is no coordination in order to package it to be exploited as a potential. Because you come to Greater Accra, for example, Lantejawe. After Lantejawe, Adan Asafodu, Gamashin, Osu, La, Teshin, following up to Nungo Pram Pram. For the whole of August, July to September. You go to Central Region, Afashe, the following week, Mankasim, the following week, Gomwa, Soko, the same way. And then, we are not able to package this into a comprehensive festival calendar so that we can sell to people outside. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to make sure that these are festivals from the south to the north? is comprehensively packaged as you into marketing so that we can sell. That anybody who is coming knows that I'm coming to Ghana within this period because I'll have the opportunity to observe these festivals. What are you going to do?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Marketing and promotions are very, very important in achievement of goals of my festivals. We want to have a comprehensive calendar, market and comprehensive program, work out with the chiefs, international authorities, and ensure that when they are well marketed within and outside Ghana, we'll have patronage. We also have to work with sponsorship. I think one of the key problems we have is our sponsorship. So as a marketing communications person, I want to assure you that we're going to have a program that will help market and promote our festivals for local and international patronage that can give us the jobs that we require. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, this one is local. Lizzie, my sister sitting here, and I struggled and put a lot of effort to start a very unique festival in Accra, Homo Fest, which was even bringing people from the diaspora and the Caribbean. We even had people from the Caribbean coming to participate in it. And then after that, we continue with Chaliwati. Today, and then the Carnival. Today, apart from Chaliwati, all these other festivals in Accra are gone. What assurances do we have from you that you possibly would revive these festivals to make sure it continues the pleasure of the people in Accra?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The private sector is very, very important in helping us achieve our tourism drive in this country. We cannot have an effective tourism success without the culture and arts. I want to assure that when given the opportunity, we'll make sure that we work with the private sector, just as she started, and bring them on board. Because without festivals and the creative arts, we cannot achieve tourism. Tourists don't come here just to look at the routes. They want to see our culture, our dances, our festivals. So assurance is given that we work with the private sector like it and make sure that we achieve this goal set for ourselves. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Ghana is said to have a very huge potential but underexploited. For the past years, we've seen wonderful private investment in the area of water tourism. In Adan, Nazim, if you go to Azim now, Low Moon, Maha, Adan here, and in Latte, Aqua Safari. Our beaches and waterfronts, like Barakese, what can we do to make sure that we exploit these wonderful natural tourism sites to make sure that we derive maximum revenue from it, instead of allowing these beaches to become dumping sites, places for open defecation, and others?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ghana has about 540-kilometer coastline. We will not be able to effectively manage and resource these coastline resources. We have to involve the traditional rulers, especially in Accra and in the coastal areas, to help keep the beaches clean. We have to incentivize them, give them some incentives to make sure that they help keep the coastal clean. When we do that, again, marketing, private sector involvement, publicity, very, very important for us. When we have to do all this together, we think that our beaches are clean, work with other ministries like environment and sanitation, roads, etc., to make sure that we keep the beaches clean. When they are clean, we think that tourists will come and can create the wealth for our people and job that will live for our people. So it's about keeping the coastline and making our marine and coastline resources very effective, involving the private sector, and involving chiefs in the cleaning of our beaches and ensuring that we get the result that we desire. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my last, as you promised me, my last. Oh, follow up, okay.
Chairman, I'm grateful. There was an earlier question on packaging I find very significant. Packaging of festivals we have within our country. I think it was an important point the Honourable Member made. And for me, what I see as a challenge is that we tend to overly look at the outside world. Our drive to attract people to focus on what we have within. So in looking at what the outside world will find as interesting or attractive, what are you also doing, or what will you do to ensure that amongst ourselves, between regions and between districts, we ourselves will know what we have and that will have interest within? Yes. Domestic tourism. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. According to UNWTO, 54% of all tourism is domestic, and that 46% is international. That means that we have a lot of potential within Ghana. What we need to do is to improve our sites and encourage people to move. In 2019, 620,000 Ghanaians moved around as internal tourism. We think, given the opportunity, we can make it 1.2 million people move around Ghana domestically. We need to get our media houses in Ghana to support us. One, be able to highlight the tourist potentials of our areas. It's very important that Ghanaians will be incentivized and encouraged to go around. When we do domestic tourism effectively, one, we are cementing national cohesion. People get to know each other and other places. We are going to redistribute income from urban areas to rural areas, and therefore reducing the rural-urban migration. We'll cut internal tourism, encourage school children to go around, and like I said, I want to urge Parliament take the lead in the internal tourism drive. Corporate tourism, when people leave, we want to encourage them to move around the places and work together to make sure that the internal tourism potentials are well marketed and patronized. Thank you.
Yes. Chairman, I'm happy you've touched on it a bit. That's my worrying area. Over the period, when I was in school, primary school, arts and culture was the principal subject on the timetable. At least twice in a week, I learned how to dance Adwa from primary school. I could dance all the dances across the country. Today, it's no more there. National ceremonies for arts and culture like Philip Kuku Night for choral music is off. And today, rather, we are inundated with Western a series, or what do I call it, telenovelas and things. When you sit down from morning till evening, the television stations, either an Indian film, an Asian film, South American film, this all throughout, and you don't even see one Ghanaian traditional culture dance of listen on any television unless you want Obonu. What are we going to do to inculcate our traditional systems and values and cultural practices in our youth instead of exposing them to these Western cultures? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to reiterate that without a strong cultural and artistic foundation, Ghana Tourism Drive will not achieve the desired results. It is therefore important that we build and strengthen our cultural strengths, our cultural heritage. That is why National Folklore has been established. That's why the National Film Authority has also been created. The Chairman, as I said earlier, we intend, given the nod, we intend to put up a $20 million studio, already working with the private sector, to make Ghana a hub for film and music and other artistic arts. This will make Ghana the hub of film in West Africa. In Nigeria, the film industry 2 years ago generated $590 million and supported 1 million jobs. In Hollywood, the film industry the same year generated 2.1 million jobs and raking about $12 billion. In Bollywood in India, it also generated about $4 billion. Ghana can do it if we have a studio that we can make sure to produce movies, films, and to help in the creative arts sector. We want to build our creative arts and culture. Without a strong cultural and artistic background, tourism will not go. Mr. Chairman, if I may add, the tourist situation in 2019 indicated that the tourists spent only 15% of their money on entertainment. 50%. The reason is that there isn't much entertainment. We can't allow them to come here and be looking at Western movies. So when we set up the studio, as we were indicating, it will help us to put up Ghanaian movie series. So at the prime time on television, we work with the private sector to ensure that at least 70% is local content. That can give us jobs for our people and create wealth in this country. So Chairman, we need to make our artists, creative artists, we need to make them rich. We need to make them strong. That can boost our domestic drive. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Ablikwa Central. No, Okankwe Central.
Not the Dansuman MP, Fadama MP. Thank you, Chairman. Minister Designate. In 1992, former President Rawlings initiated Emancipation Day. I'm building the point. President Kufuor continued with it with the Pana Fest and Emancipation Day, and also incorporated a right of abode policy into our Immigration Act. That gave Africans in the diaspora the right to live in Ghana indefinitely, and also had an effect on our Citizenship Act. Other major diaspora initiatives were undertaken by the Kufuor administration with the support of Honorable the late Jacob Echevin Lamte. It led to even a name change of the Tourism Ministry to Diaspora Relations. President Mills and President Mahama continued the tradition. They even held a diaspora colloquium in 2013. President Kufuor in 2018 launched the Year of Return, and I'm happy you mentioned how much Ghana raked in, over 3 billion. Remittances alone, according to Bank of Ghana figures, in 2020 generated $4 billion to the economy of Ghana. I have before me, with President Kufuor also relaunched the Beyond the Return, which should have happened last year but for the COVID. I have before me a memo, a joint memo standing the names of Honorable Ambrose Derry, former Tourism Minister and MP for Christian Valley, Honorable Barbara Otinjasi, and Honorable Ken Ofriatta, titled the Homeland Return Act, which encompasses what my brother Nilante talked about, festivals, diaspora relations, and what have you. That brings a total package on the tourism calendar. Are you aware of this document? And what are you going to do to have it laid before this House so that most of the plans that you are talking about will be captured in one document? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the Homeland Return Act is an initiative by the government to help in African diasporans return to Ghana. After 400 years of they living the shores of Ghana, the act is intended to encourage Africans in diaspora who want to come back to this country and their children. Mr. Chairman, the organization has better of competition among countries for resources and skills. We are convinced that the Homeland Return Act will not only help the African diaspora who can come with competencies and skills, those come with money for investment, and that will help create the jobs that we need. Because like I said, the organization has better of competition. And almost of diasporans see Ghana as their homeland. And this will have to give effect to that Ghana is their homeland, therefore they have the opportunity to come to Ghana and stay, so I can benefit from their expertise and their funds and resources. Thank you.
Secondly, Honorable Minister Designate, President Akufo-Addo, in his first term and under the leadership of Honorable Katrina Feku and her successor, the Ministerial MP, Barbara Tinjesi, Honorable, secured a loan of $40 million United States dollars, the first of its kind, to promote tourism, leisure, arts, and culture. We haven't heard a lot about the implementation or disbursement of this facility to develop our tourist sites and other ancillary facilities. What is the status of this project or program per your brief?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Yes, the $40 million facility was meant to do 4 things: to improve the tourist enabling environment, enterprise support the tourism sector, build capacity of players within it, and to improve some tourist sites in the country to enhance tourist stations and revenue. And I'm giving the nod by this August committee, Mr. Chairman. I'll have to look at it and see where it's gotten to, and give the necessary drive, energize the process, and make sure that it is implemented according to schedule. Thank you.
Lastly, Minister, domestic tourism. Ghanaians love to travel. They go to Dubai and what have you, Gambia. You have over 400,000 public servants. And they don't even know Tamale. They don't know Larabanga, they don't know Cape Coast, they don't know the Tiwa Mountains. They haven't been to Bolga.
Honorable Member, your own children, where do they know apart from Accra and their father's home?
My children, I have made a conscious effort that every vacation I take them to one region. Very important.
That's the beginning.
Yes. So, Minister, what package are you going to put in place? At least for a deliberate program for public servants. That's to start with. That's a big community that when they are on leave or on vacation, they visit some of these local tourist sites in Ebri, Mole, Cape Coast, Asin Manso, the hanging bridge at Ablekuma West. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Internal tourism, domestic tourism is very important for Ghana and for Ghana. Mr. Chairman, when giving the nod, we intend to package internal tourism to attract minimum of 1 million visitation within Ghana in terms of internal tourism. What we need to do is to make a package with the hotel owners, transporters, airline operators, and food vendors. We would package in such a way that, as he says, there are about 500,000 civil servants, but also check religious tourism. We also want to show that school children, or catch them young, school children are encouraged to go from Accra to Wa to Tamale to Bolga to Volta region. It's very important for us to do it. As I said earlier, we are targeting 1 million internal tourists every year. That we hope will create a lot of jobs for our people within the down value chain: hotels, food, transport, even cleaners. So our project is to make sure that our plan and strategy is to package internal tourist sites. So that tourism can also create national cohesion, national unity, and like I said, distribute income from urban areas to rural areas. As they go, they spend money, and the rural economy will energize and sustain for development. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you very much. Mr. Nominee, my big brother, Dr. Awal Mohammed Ibrahim. Your last post was Minister for Business Development. So you are the minister responsible for business development. basically. And from your CV, you were to coordinate and develop a policy space governing business development. In this country, we have gotten to a situation where some businesses are described as NBC businesses, and other businesses are described as NPP businesses. And when NBC is in power, NPP businesses must be killed. And when NPP is in power, NBC businesses must be killed. We thought that developing the procurement laws will create a level playing field for all businesses, because government is the biggest provider of business, most likely, in this country. We thought the procurement law will provide that opportunity for a level playing field. But you go and look at the statistics of sole sourcing at the procurement authority, and clearly a fair level playing field is not being created for business. We created the Ghana Exim Bank thinking that there will be financial support for businesses that will engage in international trade and export. As Minister for Business Development, did you pay attention to these critical issues that underpin our capacity to be able to develop businesses across regimes in this country? What did you do? What policy did you develop to ensure that there isn't the discrimination that we see in supporting businesses across party lines and etc.? What did you do?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, in 2017, when Excellency President Akufo-Addo nominated me, he told me this: "You are a businessman. I want you to initiate policies to make sure that Ghanaian businesses grow, especially small businesses." The Chairman, small businesses constitute about 85% of all businesses in this country. And our mandate and our initiative was to look at the Ghanaian, not about politics. So in all our initiatives, we looked at the Ghanaian. Ghanaians have relationships. It's not about NDC and MPP. They have relationships across. So, Mr. Chair, what we did, we had about 5-6 initiatives: Presidential Business Support Program, Presidential Pitch, Presidential Empowerment for Women with Disability, Campus Business Pitch, and then Presidential Empowerment for Disability for Males. All that we did was that we announced that we have this initiative. Presidential Pitch instance, or Presidential Business Support Program, that created 96,000 jobs. We advertise it that we want people who have business ideas to apply. When they applied, we had people from all over the country. And the criteria never included which party you belonged. No. The most important thing is, are you Ghanaian? Do you have a business plan, a model that can be supported? If yes, a panel sits around, vets you, and then gives you the support. So I think that Ghana is a whole. We are Ghanaians first and foremost, and business doesn't know party colors. We must support Ghanaian businesses irrespective of the party that the person comes from. When businesses improve, they also employ people. I don't think they follow whether you're party A or party B. Ghanaian businesses must be supported irrespective of their party colors. That's the way we can grow a country and make Ghana an important country in the community of nations in the world. Thank you.
There's a lot more to do around that. Marine Drive Tourism Investment Project. 215.7 acres of land. I don't know if you have read through the project document. Have you read the project document?
I haven't read. Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Marine Drive.
It's just a question. Have you read the project document? I'm going to ask you a question. I need to know if you have read through the project document.
I've been briefed.
Pardon?
I've been briefed.
You have engaged?
Briefed.
Oh, you have been briefed, but you haven't read the project document. Okay. All right. I mean, it's a major project involving 217 acres of, I believe, the most valuable land in Accra today, apart from maybe airport residential area or cantonments. Now, you are going to that ministry, assuming this parliament approves you. what guarantee do we have? And do you promise this House that when you get there, you would account to us the mechanism by which you are going to allocate the lands to developers? Will you be fair? Will it be through transparent public auctions? Can we get that assurance? And will you report to Parliament how fair and transparent the process of allocating these lands for the development and engaging developers will be?
Thank you, Chairman. The process has begun, and I'm given a note by this committee, but I can assure the House that I'm going to look into it and make sure that the needful is done. We cannot wait any longer. So if I want to ensure the House that I'll take the necessary steps to ensure that we activate it and make sure that it goes very well according to the schedule.
The question is not the schedule for the implementation of the project. The question is specific. It is 215.7 acres of land, prime land, one of the best lands in the country. And you are supposed to engage developers to develop the whole place. You are likely to be dividing it into lots and giving out. Question is, can you assure us, assuming you become the minister, that the process for selecting developers and allocating these lands will be transparent by a public auction, and you report to this House how you allocate and determine people who will use this, who will develop these lands? That's a specific question I'm asking.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, due process will be followed. The right thing will be done. Thank you.
Last question is, I've looked at the handing over notes of the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Arts, and they propose that we develop Aquaba hotels across the country. How will you achieve that? Because that's a very important initiative. How will you achieve that project?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Aqua hotels are supposed to be luxury hotels to encourage domestic tourism. I think it's a very important concept and idea, and I would want to follow up and ensure that it's done. At least one in each region. Thank you.
Yes, Reverend. I'm grateful, Honorable Chair. Congratulations, Doc, on your nomination. On Panifest and Emancipation, Asin Manso plays host to the monumental Emancipation celebration since its inception in 1998. For 23 years and 23 consecutive times, Asin Manso has hosted Emancipation, which has attracted thousands of tourists from the diaspora. Unfortunately, the tourism potential of the Asin Manso Slave Monument has been woefully underdeveloped. There is no guest house, there is no rest stop, and the Slave River itself, which has been the thrust of attraction, is left at the mercy of the weather. Now, 23 years on, what assurance can you give to this committee of your commitment to develop an integrated Asin Manso Slave Monument and its ancillary tourism potentials in order to maximize the gains that this country can benefit from that sector?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Asin Manso project is a very important one. Indeed, the whole slave route from the north to Asin Manso as the exit point is very important for us. I want to assure this committee that when I'm giving the nod, we would make sure that we develop it into an iconic tourist site to attract visitation and to improve facilities and make sure that it's one of the best facilities in this country. I can give it assurance, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are grateful for that assurance. Secondly, in March 2019, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, signed an MOU, 5 MOUs as a matter of fact, with Malta. Eminent among these MOUs was an MOU on tourism promotion. to form a partnership and collaboration between these two countries to promote investment into the tourism industry. As we speak, that MOU has not been tabled to Parliament for ratification, even for the benefits intended to be actualized. If you have obtained briefing on these MOUs, can you assure the committee of what urgent steps you will take to bring this MOU and any other related beneficial MOU that is pending ratification so that Parliament can ratify and for the intended benefits to be operationalized?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When I'm given the opportunity by this August committee, I want to assure the House that MOU and other MOUs and such arrangements will be looked into and make sure that we speed up and bring it to Parliament for ratification and for implementation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the Ministry of Tourism Creative Act has a campaign to promote See Ghana, Eat Ghana, Wear Ghana, Feel Ghana, just to promote Made in Ghana goods, to participate in Made in Ghana goods. Now we are promoting tourism, but whilst tourism flourishes in our country, you realize that we are rather promoting foreign culture with regards to what we eat. If you move from one hotel to another during lunchtime, you realize that all meals that have been served is perfumed rice from foreign countries, as against our local rice. So if it is laudable to promote See Ghana, Eat Ghana, and so on and so forth, what are you going to do practically to ensure that Ghanaians develop taste, develop interest in what we produce locally, so that we can patronage it to support tourism in our country?
Thank you, Chairman. In most of our hotels, as you said, it's a lot of foreign food. From our research, we've been told the big star hotels, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, that are trying to develop a recipe menu. There's no recipe menu on Ghanaian dishes. So, when given the nod, we're going to help them. They've started something to develop a recipe menu so I can use that in the Ghanaian big hotels. And like I said, we need to do more engagement with the private sector and to do a lot of promotions to make sure that Ghanaians appreciate and eat our food, wear our clothes, feel Ghana, and then market Ghana. It's a collaboration between the public, between the ministry and the various stakeholders to let you appreciate. We don't only do it among adults, we also want to go down to the schools. We want to give in tourism, arts, and cultural education, together with the Ministry of Education, in the various schools. We want to send tourism, arts, education, and cultural education there. One of the things we want to do, Mr. Chairman, is to promote the reading of news in local languages. Most of our children, we speak to them in English. They can't speak their local languages. We think that if you want to institute a reading competition between the ages of 10 and 18 across the country, that they can start reading news and enacting plays in our local language as part of efforts. Because our culture is us, it's our language, it's what we eat and what we wear. So one step that we'll do, one given a nod, is to encourage our young people, a regular annual intellectual competition for our people, our children between the ages of 10 to 18, to read news in a local language, for which we give them prizes and awards. And want to urge Parliament to support it in it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, when the nominee is given the nod, his ministry will be responsible for maintaining tourist sites and discovering new ones to develop them. Recently, a waterfall was found in Bonzai, a community called Bonzai, in the Jaboso district. Developing it has become a problem because of lack of resources. What will you do to ensure that that waterfall that has been discovered in Bonzai will be developed to add up to the several waterfalls that we have in the country, to also rake in some revenue for the state?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we indicated, we need to maintain the old sites and to add on, or need to improve tourism visitation and tourism revenue in this country. So I want to assure you that we would look at all that, and I also want to urge you that wherever you find such attractions, please draw attention so that together we can develop those sites for tourist attractions and for investment. Thank you.
Honourable Member for Ablekuma West. Now I got it right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And congratulations, Honourable Awal. I believe that having just been the Minister for Business Development, you see the business potential of our tourism sector even better than anyone else. And so if given the nod, I have no doubt that you would transform that sector to be one of the highest revenue earners in this country. To be able to do that, we need to maximize the benefit that we get from our tourist sites. How are you going to work to preserve our tourist sites? I've been to Pagrant's house, which is over 100 years old, in Axim, and the trees growing through that house, almost next door to it, is the first bank in West Africa. That is also a roof. But the locals know that they will tell you that this is what is there. We also have many hotels than anywhere else in Africa, I believe. And yet they are all in serious states of disrepair. And it's not even attractive to visit them and to even learn the history behind those tourist sites. What would you do? One, to preserve those tourist sites. Two, to step up the education and awareness creation about of those sites and their relevance to our history, all in an attempt to spare more interest in visiting and knowing about those sites.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. As indicated, when I'm given the nod by this Honourable House, we intend to increase tourism visitation from 1.1 million visitors, which has been the highest, to an average of 1.5 to 2 million visitation every year. We want tourism as and culture to be one contributor to our GDP. The GTA has already started working on tourist facilities. We have 29 museums and forts in this country, and with 29 forts and castles and 8 museums in this country. The GTA has started a program to rehabilitate all those forts and castles, to bring them to speed. We're also trying to look at the tourist receptive facilities around all those places to make them attractive. When given the nod, Mr. Chairman, we will again look at them and package them properly. Ghana has some of the best tourist facilities in the world. We need to package them, bring them up to speed, and then use the media, both local and international media, to sell those facilities. Already under the World Bank program, we've engaged CNN, and it's doing a lot of promotion for us. We also have to look at within Africa. Nigeria is an important destination in terms of tourist attractions. USA is #1.